picture it. It's 2014, man, and you accidentally just spilled some cereal all over the table. The remote is there, and the glistening milk shocks the TV onto Nickelodeon, and there's a new show about to premiere that you have never seen. An intriguing proposition Nick and the milk gods have bestowed upon you. That show is...
Buckle up, duckies, 'cause we got a rocket fan. Delivering bread, flying crazy 'cause we can.
So you turn the TV off.
Dude!
Milk tells me when it's time to take all my clothes off in the bathroom, not what to watch, and turning it off, well...
Feels good.
I've kind of been having some existential crisis lately, thinking that I'm not a kid anymore. 2019 was 6 years ago, and that's bull, man. My brain hasn't grown, so neither should time. Henry Danger premiered in the summer of 2014 and ran for 5 seasons until 2020. Kind of a rare thing for live-action kid shows. Then there was the spinoff in 2020 that followed a group of new superhero kids being mentored by Captain Man, titled Danger Force, created by Chris Nowak. Not Feet Finder's #1 fan, apparently. Now, I'm not gonna lie and say I followed Henry Danger for every episode. It was a show I probably stopped watching in like season 2, not because I didn't like it. I thought it was pretty funny. I just was getting older and was more into YouTube. Just because I'm really into Cartoon Network, Disney, and Nick, I still knew about the ending of the show where Kid Danger dies and about Danger Force, but seeing Henry have powers was new to me. I watched the special where Henry and Ray go back in time to Captain Man's origin story to prepare for the movie, and the show holds up pretty well. Outside of all the crap Schneider did, his shows were hits, and Henry Danger feels like the last hit. I didn't care for Game Shakers. Random story. When I moved into my new house my freshman year of high school, the day we got cable in my room, the first thing I watched was Game Shakers. Why was the first thing I watched? I don't know, dude, but it was the last time I ever watched Game Shakers. Now we are here with Henry Danger, the movie. I'm here for all these reboot movies Paramount is doing. The Zoe 102 movie wasn't bad. I didn't watch the Thundermans movie yet, but when the trailer dropped for this movie and I saw Schwoz, and I guess the darker tone, I was sold. Henry says hell. Buckle up, kids. I wouldn't be surprised if Schwoz recites the alphabet with cuss words. The movie opens with a narrator. Want to know who it is? I actually don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's Darren Norris, the janitor from Ned's and Cosmo, and a ton of other characters from Fairly Odd Parents. If I am right, then that's kind of cool. If I'm wrong, I was never here. We get narration over the history of the Dangerverse. Is there a name for the Henry Danger universe? Did I just make a pretty cool name for it? If I'm right, then that's kind of cool. If I'm wrong, then I was never here. Okay, for real. We get the whole backstory of the show while we see Kid Danger infiltrating some corporation to steal this machine. I watched this with my girlfriend and we both were like, what is this? Who do they get to play young Kid Danger? He looks like a woman with a wig on. It reminds me of White Chicks. The fights were already elevated from the show. They were dynamic and some shots with some flair were already setting this movie apart from the show, but man, that young Kid Danger just looks so bad. I mean, they didn't even let us see the face. Every time it was blurred. Luckily, we got an explanation as to why this looked nothing like Henry. This was our new character in the movie. Missy dressed as Kid Danger with a Kid Danger mask on. I legitimately cannot tell if this was supposed to be funny or show that she's a super fan or what. Either way, I know she watched White Chicks.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces past and I'm homebound.
We catch up with the original cast in Dystopia, the city they went to at the end of the show. Jasper's here. Why do they not look like kids anymore? It's so weird to see them not have big-headed balls of energy. I'm glad he's here. This movie isn't just a catch-up with Henry, but with a lot of the side cast. We open with seeing Henry signing a deal with a watch brand. He's made a name for himself in Dystopia, and just as Henry, I think, not Kid Danger. The whole death of Kid Danger and who he is confusing to me. He doesn't wear a mask, he's just kind of a guy. We then see Jasper getting ready to fight. His powers are hilarious. It's so dumb. He learned fighting and Spanish from this audiobook he would listen to in his sleep. He can only use his skills when he is asleep though, so he has this device to make him fall asleep whenever. He looks like Daredevil. Henry goes through his Nightwing arc, and not gonna lie, Henry's kind of a dick in this movie. I love it though. I like that this isn't just a kid movie where everything is sunshine and rainbows and our lead is always right. Henry keeps taking all the fame for saving everyone even though Jasper does half the work. The movie shakes the identity of the show by this darker tone, higher budget, and there were a lot of jokes shows throughout the movie, they just aren't zany like the show. It's more sarcastic dialogue, and the portrayals aren't hyper. The plot of the movie is that there is this fangirl, Missy, who is obsessed with Kid Danger. The device she stole in the beginning of the movie basically can bring anything to life, I'm pretty sure. Basically, it makes her fan fictions real, all having to do with Kid Danger. She, along with the rest of the world, thinks that Kid Danger died on the blimp like the end of the show showed, and she wants to bring him back to life to help stop the crime in her city and protect her little sister while becoming Kid Danger's sidekick. The device messes up after getting Henry to teleport to her room. It traps Henry and Missy in a multiverse of Missy's fanfics, where some worlds are fun parties with Ariana Grande's brother, or a world where Piper is an electric vampire. Van Piper is the main villain of the movie. She's the reason they can't get out of the stories, and I really like this idea. We aren't introduced to a new villain, we just get a simple evil Piper, which then allows Henry and Missy to meet the different versions of Jasper, Piper, and Schwoz. Henry and Missy's relationship grows through each world, but the biggest part of the movie is Henry saying that every version of Jasper is the bestest friend anyone could ask for. Jasper always sacrifices himself to help Henry. In the world where Jasper is the famous one, Henry isn't vibing with it. This is a superhero movie, but having the villain be just a simple evil version of Piper allows the characters to really shine. And let's be honest, I didn't need the bland shadow guy in the beginning. The world where Jasper is Captain Stash is one of the best versions we meet. There's a fun dance number, Henry's superhero form is Lord Lolly, and although Jace Norman is grown up now and acts way more chill and a little too cool to be here, his sarcastic reactions to getting beat up as Lord Lolly is a big reason why this movie works. The humor works thoroughly well throughout the whole movie. There's a higher level of maturity. There's even like a subtle gay joke. There are these over-the-top Canadians that do fit more in line with the show, yet they fit here. The balance of over-the-top humor and the darker tone is actually great. There were a lot of nut shots to the Canadians without showing them actually getting hit in their testes, which was probably the weirdest choice humor-wise. If we're gonna imply it over and over, why don't we just show it? Now, a big-ass elephant in the room is Charlotte and Captain Man's absence. They don't shy away from mentioning them. They actually kind of shot themselves in the logic department by talking about them too much, specifically with Charlotte. So the machine that Missy stole in the beginning is called the RAD, or RAD, and this takes Missy's fantasies into real life, like specifically what she wrote into real life, like word for word. She has all these stories without Captain Man, which, okay, sure, but she even mentions she knows about Charlotte. The stories all have Jasper in them, and she didn't know who Schwoz was, but the logic is that the RAD just filled in the blanks with the people close to the characters for the background characters. That's why we get these versions of Schwoz. But somehow we don't have Charlotte in any story. The reasoning is that she is at Harvard, and I'm sure the actress just didn't want to come back. And honestly, she was kind of the worst actor in my opinion. And just focusing on Jasper and Henry's relationship works enough for me. I just gotta pick apart this kid's made-for-TV movie, or I just would not be able to fall asleep peacefully, y'all. I did look to see if the actress who played Charlotte, Raelle Downs, pretty sure I said that right, is in anything else, and she's been in a couple of movies, but there's a movie she was in 2008 that I was not expecting to see. I'm not gonna say the title because it's kind of inappropriate for YouTube. However, just a big difference in show titles amongst her IMDb page. I want to play my last few videos. We got a video talking about why you should be watching Adult Swim's Invincible Fight Girl, a video ranking every single animated movie I saw in 2024. And my latest video is talking about some YouTubers who made some rad cartoons that I wanted to talk about. Let's talk the man with the Schwoz plan. Schwoz. I put this in my Letterboxed review. I would freak out if I were to ever meet Schwoz than Academy Award winner Meryl Streep, and I stand by that fact. Schwoz is a very simple character joke, but it works really well for me. And the different versions we meet in this movie solidify that even more. The actor Michael Cohen gets to do a bunch of different accents, my favorite being the New Yorker and the dance world. There isn't a story arc for Schwoz here, but he plays a key role in the plot, and he just adds to the humor. He's probably the funniest part in this entire movie. If I ever made a cartoon, I would want Michael to do a voice in it. He has a really cool voice to me and does sarcasm super well. I wouldn't want Meryl Streep in my cartoon. I'm just kidding. If she wanted to, I wouldn't say no. But I mean, if the role was between her and Michael, I gotta go with Michael. The movie's a simple story. A lot of people say it's better than the Multiverse of Madness already, but I'm not gonna go into specific details in the ending. It's just a satisfying ending. There were actually lessons that were learned, but they also had Henry do something I wasn't really wanting. Before we get into the spoiler talk, I do want to go back to Jace Norman real fast. I listened to his episode on the Sit and Chat podcast with the actors who played Gabe and Good Luck Charlie and Fletcher and Ant Farm. He seems like a chill dude, but like he also is so different from Henry. He was talking about the filming for this movie was coming up soon. I bring this up because I just hope he really was excited to do this. His demeanor is so chill, cool dude that it seemed like he didn't care sometimes. In the interview, that is. There's only like 2 examples I have from the movie, but I mean, they're just reactions. I'm not saying he needs to be energetic and happy 24/7, but his dynamic with Captain Man was the best part of the show. The joke that they were just boyfriends or 2 idiots is something I wish we got to see in this movie. So I hope he's in it for sequels, if they ever happen. It's also really odd how grown up Piper is too. She also acted way more chill in this movie than her normal character would. I guess Schwoz and Jasper stayed kinda on the same energy, and Piper and Henry grew up a little. Mainly, it just looked like Jace was mewing a lot. Let's talk spoilers. Skip to this timestamp if you want to hear any big things. I was really bummed that Captain Man didn't show up at all here, but I was sure he was probably gonna show up in a post-credit scene, and lo and behold, the man was here. Dude, how did they make Captain Man look actually really cool? The grittier look with the grayer beard. I mean, this guy was hilarious, and this made him look like, damn, like the Logan treatment. They tease that Captain Man needs Henry and Missy's help, perfectly setting up a sequel, and I hope that happens. I mean, you can't not have Captain Man. I mean, the guy has been carrying this franchise after Henry left. So the thing I didn't love is that Henry chooses to leave Jasper in dystopia after realizing he has grown enough to save the world on his own. Henry then moves to Missy's city to not only save her city, but to take her on as his new sidekick. I can see this setting up a show or whatever. It's just kind of sad that we got this big love letter to Jasper and Henry, and now we're splitting them up again. Overall, this movie is way better than it deserves to be. It's a streaming movie based on a kid's show. It's not perfect, but there's heart here. It felt good to hear him say it feels good. I think the sequel can only build upon the highs of this movie and fix the lows. Obviously, all sequels aim to do that, but they are lows that can easily be fixed. They're so easy to fix that if they don't, then something's really wrong. If you haven't seen the show, this is definitely not going to be a movie for you. You kind of do need to see the show to get a lot of this, even though there was a recap. I've never seen Game of Thrones, and I'm not gonna watch a movie without watching the show. So why can't we treat Game of Thrones and Henry Danger on the same level, y'all? Yeah! I'm gonna give this movie an overall score of 78%. Kinda crazy that I said that. And a grade of looking good. Like and subscribe, TheShoogyShoo.